All right, welcome to the deep dive. You know, it's a new year, and you're probably thinking about healthy eating, and you want to kind of separate fact from fiction with all the stuff that's out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what we're here to do, right?
That's right.
We're doing a deep dive today on healthy eating myths, and we've got some insights from a dietitian, Dr. Carrie Ruxton, to kind of guide us through this.
Yeah,
So let's just jump right in. You must eat breakfast as soon as you wake up.
right.
I feel like we were all raised with that one, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's like ingrained.
Yeah. So what's the truth behind that one?
But Dr. Rexton says it's not really about when you eat, but what you eat.
Okay.
And so the quality of the food is more important.
Yeah.
So, maybe not grabbing a donut on your way out the door.
Yeah.
But, when you do break your fast, if you're having some whole grains, things like that, that's going to be a better choice.
That makes sense.
And actually, she practices intermittent fasting herself.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about intermittent fasting, because that's something that I think a lot of people are curious about.
Yeah, so it's basically like cycling between periods of eating and not eating.
Yeah.
So she might delay her first meal until later in the day.
Okay, so it's not really like starving yourself. It's just more like strategically timing.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so myth number 2. Fiber is only for regular bowel movements.
Right.
I feel like that's another one that we all kind of grew up believing. So is there any truth to that?
Well, Dr. Ruxton says that it does a lot more than that.
Okay.
So it helps regulate blood sugar levels,
Oh, wow.
lowers cholesterol, and then this can help reduce your risk of heart disease and diabetes.
Oh, wow.
So it's good for a lot more than we think.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like a heart healthy thing too.
Exactly.
Wow. That's amazing. And she also mentions the gut microbiome.
Yeah.
Now remind me, what is the gut microbiome?
So basically you have trillions of bacteria that live in your digestive system.
Okay.
And fiber is like the city planner.
Uh-huh.
It helps create a diverse, thriving community.
Okay.
And then this can actually boost your immunity, improve your mood, even brain health, and stronger bones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it goes way beyond just bowel regularity.
So all those little bacteria are responsible for all that.
It's amazing.
That's wild. Okay. Myth number 3. Smoothies will spike your blood sugar.
Right.
I feel like with all the glucose monitors that are out there now, that's a big
Mhm.
topic of conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
So what does Dr. Rexton say about that one?
So there was this really interesting study of Soka University, and they actually found that blending fruit can lead to lower blood sugar spikes than eating it whole.
Really?
Yeah.
That's counterintuitive.
I know, and it's because of those tiny seeds and berries.
Okay.
They have compounds that slow down the absorption of the sugar.
So it's almost like the seeds are like a time release?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's wild.
And then another thing is she says, don't always trust those glucose monitors as much, because there's a study in January of 2025 that found that some monitors can exaggerate readings by more than 3 times.
What?
Yeah.
Compared to a standard blood test?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. So maybe we need to take all that with a grain of salt.
exactly. It's good to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, myth number 4. Don't drink tea before bed because of the caffeine.
Right.
I've heard that one my whole life.
Yeah,
Love tea.
me too.
So is there any truth to that one?
Well, she says that tea actually has less caffeine than coffee,
Oh, okay.
but it also contains this amino acid called L-theanine.
Okay, L-theanine.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. I feel like we've talked about that before.
Yeah, we did in that deep dive on like calming teas and stuff.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so tell me more about that.
So when L-theanine is combined with caffeine, it can actually help you relax.
Really?
Yeah, and there was the 2023 study that found that people who drank black tea or herbal tea in the evening actually reported better sleep.
So it could actually help me sleep better.
Yeah, potentially.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And it makes me think, like, it's not just about avoiding certain things, but like
Right.
the combination of things can have a different effect.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay, myth number 5. Carbs are evil. Another big one.
Yeah.
It's been around forever.
It's still going strong.
Yeah. So what does Dr. Ruxton say about that one?
So she says that carbs are actually relatively low in calories compared to like fat and alcohol.
Okay.
And it's not really the carbs themselves that are the problem, it's what we add to them.
So like if I'm having a plain baked potato, that's not a big deal. But if I'm adding all the butter and sour cream and cheese and bacon bits, then
Exactly. Then it becomes a problem that comes in.
Exactly.
Okay.
So just being mindful of what you're adding to them.
So once again, it's all about context.
Exactly.
Okay. This has been great. We've learned so much from Dr. Rexton already.
But don't go anywhere. We've got more myth-busting action to come when we return for part 2 of our deep dive.
All right, welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are on a roll busting those healthy eating myths with Dr. Carrie Ruxton.
Yeah.
Okay, so myth number 6, eating fat makes you fat.
Oh, yeah, that one.
That one's been around forever.
Definitely.
I feel like it came from the whole low-fat craze.
Yeah, all that fat-free stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it tasted terrible.
Exactly. So has our thinking evolved on that one at all?
Yeah, Dr. Ruxton says that fat is an essential nutrient.
Okay.
It's really important for hormone production and cell function, and it helps us absorb certain vitamins.
So it's not that we should avoid all fat.
Right.
It's just about
Choosing the right ones.
choosing the right one.
Exactly.
Right.
Like the healthy fats you find in avocados and nuts.
Okay.
Things like that.
So it's kind of like what we were talking about with carbs.
Right.
It's all about
It's about quality over quantity.
quality over quantity.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, myth number 7. You need to detox your body.
Yeah.
I feel like that one's always popular in January.
Always.
Right.
Especially with all the New Year's resolutions and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the truth behind that one?
Well, your body is a detox machine.
Oh, okay.
Your liver and kidneys are constantly filtering out toxins and waste products.
So those detox teas and juice cleanses that are all over the internet?
Yeah, she's not a fan of those.
Really?
Yeah, she says they can actually disrupt your gut microbiome.
Oh, no. And we just talked about how important that is.
Right, exactly.
For everything.
Yeah, and they can also lead to nutrient deficiencies.
Okay, so we're not actually detoxing.
Yeah, not really.
It's just kind of a marketing
Pretty much.
gimmick.
Yeah.
Okay. Myth number 8. You need to drink 8 glasses of water a day.
Right.
That's another one that's like so ingrained in our minds.
That's classic.
So is there any truth to that?
So she says it's not a one-size-fits-all rule. Your hydration needs depend on your activity level, the climate you live in, your overall health.
So how do we know if we're getting enough water?
Just listen to your body. If you're thirsty, drink water.
That makes sense.
And you can also check the color of your urine.
Okay.
If it's pale yellow, you're probably good.
Oh.
If it's darker, you might need to drink more.
So simple but effective.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, myth number 9. Skipping meals helps you lose weight.
That's a bad one.
Yeah, I feel like we've all
Tried
that at some point in our lives
Right.
and probably regretted it.
Yeah, not a good idea.
So what happens when we skip meals?
So basically, your body thinks it's starving, and it slows down your metabolism to conserve energy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it kind of backfires
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you're trying to lose weight.
You're better off eating regular balanced meals throughout the day.
Okay, so keep your metabolism going.
Keep it humming.
Okay, makes sense. Myth number 10. All calories are created equal. I feel like this one is especially relevant with all the calorie tracking apps out there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
People get really focused on the numbers.
Yeah, it's easy to get obsessed with that.
Yeah. So what's Dr. Ruxton's perspective on this one?
So she says that the source of the calories matters.
Okay.
It's not just about the number.
Okay.
So like 100 calories of cookies is not going to have the same nutritional value as 100 calories of nuts and seeds.
Okay.
So you want to think about the nutrient density.
So once again, it's all about the quality
Exactly.
over quantity.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been incredible. I feel like we've busted so many myths today.
Yeah, we've made some good progress.
And it's just so interesting how much we can learn by really questioning these things that we've always believed.
For sure. It's always good to be curious.
Yeah. But before we wrap up our deep dive, we have a little twist coming up, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment with some final thoughts.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. I feel like after all those myths we busted, I'm ready to make some serious changes. Yeah, it's good to feel empowered, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive, what are some things that our listeners should kind of keep in mind when they're thinking about healthy eating in this new year?
One of the things that really struck me from all of Dr. Ruxton's insights was just the importance of context.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about following these strict rules
Oh.
or demonizing entire food groups.
Right. It's not like all or nothing with anything.
Exactly. It's more about looking at the bigger picture.
Right.
What works for you and what you can sustain,
Yeah.
long term.
Yeah, I think that's such an important point. It's like finding what works for you
Yeah,
because we're all so different.
exactly. And I think the other thing, too, that's really important is to remember that food is meant to be enjoyed.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just fuel.
Right.
It's about pleasure and connection and all those things.
It's like a cultural experience, too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we forget that when we get so caught up in,
Yeah.
all the rules.
Right. It's about finding that balance.
Yeah. Well, this has been such a great deep dive. I feel like we learned so much from Dr. Rexton.
Yeah, she's great.
And thank you so much for joining us and helping us to bust all these myths.
My pleasure.
And for our listener, be sure to check out the show notes for links to all the studies that we discussed today so you can do a little more research on your own.
Yeah. And think about, what myths are you ready to let go of?
Ooh.
And what new habits are you excited to embrace in this new year?
I love that. That's a great takeaway for everyone. And until next time, happy and healthy eating.